I literally didn't know any of this, and I just had gotten married, going to try to do natural birth. I literally thought you could take an ovulation test and, you know, like so much about my life now, but whatever, it's fine. Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Lily and I am very excited about this video. So I haven't made a girl talk video in a long time, and girl talk videos are one of my most viewed videos on my channel. And I kind of felt like I had done all the girl talk videos that I could do. I have done videos from tampons to pads to menstrual cups to what is a period, what to expect, period cramps, all that kind of stuff. And recently I am a youth leader, so my husband is a youth pastor, and so we pastor kids from ages 6th grade to seniors in high school. And so I have a lot of talks with girls about sex and hearing things about other girls getting pregnant and not knowing why they became pregnant. And then I've talked even with a few friends that didn't even know about their women's cycle and how to prevent pregnancy or how to help getting pregnant. And a lot of women just go into marriage, or a lot of girls go into having sex with guys and not understanding their bodies. And I feel like our society has done a very poor job at explaining truly like the woman body, especially her cycles. And I don't want this to be inappropriate at all whatsoever. If you find this inappropriate, I'm sorry, but if you're gonna look at me as a Christian woman, as a pastor, this is from the Bible. You know, God gave us women menstrual cycles. He gave us these things, and I think we should know what it is, how to prevent it, or how to not prevent it. No one ever told me. I had to learn it all by myself. School didn't tell me. My mom didn't tell me. I literally had no idea that there was like different phases that your body went through. A lot of girls don't know that either. And so recently I've just been thinking a lot about that because, you know, the subject has come up, and I just felt like it is important for me to make a video just explaining the woman body and the cycles that it goes through. Because whether you are in a stage in your life where you're wanting to get pregnant but you don't know where to start or don't know how, or you're pregnant and don't understand what happened or whatever, or I know that this is like very tilted because I can see it on the sign. Last video it was tilted and it really bothered me. Alright, that's just gonna have to do. I'm sorry if it bothers you, but I know there's a lot of, you know, girls who get pregnant in high school or in grade school or in college, and they were not prepared for that. And, you know, I, as a Christian woman, do not condone sex before marriage. If you're watching this and you are having sex or whatnot, or you have had sex before marriage, or you're pregnant with a one-night stand, I'm not here to judge at all. That is not my job, but I just want to get the facts out there, you know, because if this were me, I wish I would have had this video or had someone tell me this previously when I was going through changes in my body. So I'm going to start with, you know, your period, and then I'm going to loop all the way around until we get back to period. I really learned all of this after I got married. I didn't really know any of this until my friend was trying to get pregnant, and I was talking to her and she was telling me all of this stuff, and I was like, I literally didn't know any of this, and I just had gotten married a month ago. And so I didn't even know this really. I kind of did, but I only knew about ovulation, and I only knew that ovulation occurred after having your period. So this is honestly newer to me. So I am just going to start off. I have a lot of the like points on my phone, so if I'm looking down, that's why. So I'm going to start off with your period. I have made a whole video about kind of like what a period is, but basically you start your period around ages, like it could start from the earliest to like 9 all the way until like 12 or 13. I got mine at, I think I was 11. So I got mine pretty early. Like I was one of the first girls to get their period, and I was in 6th grade. I just had a doctor's appointment, and then my doctor said like, you'll probably be getting your period soon. And I was like, oh my gosh, yay, I'm so excited. Because I really wanted to be a woman. I always just wanted to be a grown-up. And none of my friends really had their periods, maybe like a couple. And I'm really small. I'm 4'9". I weighed like under 100 pounds my whole life. So I'm super small. I never really grew anything. I still looked like a very tiny pubescent child. For some reason, I was an early bloomer as well. I was so excited to get my period, and then when I got it was when everything changed. I never wanted a period ever again. I had horrible cramps my whole entire life. I still do, but I'm on birth control right now. So birth control has definitely helped in my cramps, but I've dealt with cramps for 9 years or 8 years because I've been on birth control for like 1 year. So basically what a period is it is the release of eggs and the cyclic release of estrogen and progesterone. So the release of the estrogen and progesterone, that is what causes, you know, PMS. I get really bad PMS, which PMS is premenstrual syndrome. So I didn't actually know it was a syndrome, but basically it's just, you know, all those hormones changing and you get very like emotional. I'm like PMSing right now. Probably be really PMSing tomorrow because I'm supposed to get my period on Thursday. I get very emotional. My, you know, emotions get heightened. If I get happy, I'm like really happy. If I get sad, I'm really sad. Or if I get angry, I'm really angry. If I'm hangry, I get very hangry. So it's the release of the eggs. So basically the blood and all that is the release of the eggs that had not been fertilized. And then, as I said, I got really bad cramps. So cramping actually is the uterine contractions during menstruation, and that's what a patient feels when she suffers from menstrual cramps. These contractions are what cause the uterine lining to leave the walls of the uterus and exit the body. These contractions aid the flow of the uterine lining to exit the vagina. So I didn't know that they were contractions, but I have had such bad cramps my whole life that I am hopefully going to try to do a natural birth. The reason for this is, one, my entire family lineage from women, from my great-grandma, great-great-great-great-grandma, grandma, mom, have all had natural births. Mainly because, like, you know, my great-grandma and all them didn't have epidurals or anything, but my mom had, you know, had access to epidurals, but she still did not get one. So I really want to keep that family history going. That will be in a couple years from now, but I really hope that I can succeed in that. And also, since I've had such bad cramps, my grandma and my mom say that the cramps that you feel during a period is sort of like the same feeling as contractions, but you get breaks in between until you're about to give birth. It's kind of easier when you have already gone through pain that excruciating, because it is very excruciating. Also, you don't tear as bad when you are naturally giving birth because you're not pushing as hard, and you kind of realize like what your body's doing, and you can just let your body do it. Whereas when you are on an epidural, you kind of don't know how hard you're pushing, and you push really, really hard, and then you cause tearing and all that kind of stuff. That was for a whole different video, but cramps are somewhat of a good thing if you're looking to have natural birth, but that is kind of like what cramps are. Here is the juicy information that I didn't know until a couple months ago. So I always knew about ovulation. Ovulation is, in my mind, what I thought was just the peak of when you could get pregnant. I didn't know what that meant. You know, you may not know what that means, but there's obviously science behind it, and there's reasons why it is heightened to get pregnant at that time. As a girl, I don't know why, but I have always had really bad, like, discharge. And I hate that word. It's so gross. But it's just, you know, girl to girl. It's true. It's always been gross. I cannot go a day without wearing a panty liner. I don't really know, like, the whole reasoning for that. And I know some girls don't really deal with that much. Some girls do. But I know I do. So I'm not really sure why. But it is very heightened during the ovulation cycle. So your follicular or your follicular, however you want to pronounce it, is the time between the first day of the period and ovulation. That you begin your period all the way until your ovulation day. So the follicular phase is about 2 weeks. This is when estrogen rises as an egg prepares to be released. A period lasts about 7 days, give or take. You have this window, this week window, where the egg is preparing to be released. So at this point, I don't see as much discharge or whatnot. Nothing's really happening. Nothing really happens for me when I'm ovulating. I don't feel anything happen. I don't get cramping. Well, I do get a little bit of cramping, but it's not like menstrual cramps. It's not like when you're on your period. It's kind of different. I don't really know how to explain it. I do get a little bit of cramping, but it's not really that noticeable. It's definitely not like period cramps. So the follicular phase is about 2 weeks. So you get this little time in between your period and your ovulation where the percentage is not that high. So I forgot to mention that when you're on your period, there's pretty much no way that you're gonna get pregnant because those eggs are getting flushed out and, you know, new eggs are preparing to get released by ovulation. There's pretty much no way. There's like a 1 or 2% chance that you will get pregnant while you're on your period. So this follicular phase, right after you have your period, the chance that you'll get pregnant is pretty low. It's like low to medium. It depends on when you do. So if you have sex like the day after you end your period, it's probably like a 3 or 4% chance. It's not super, super high, but it's also like a little bit more than 1 or 2%, but you're still pretty safe when you're in that phase. Now, we're going to move on to the proliferative phase, which I believe is also during the follicular phase. So this phase is after the period, the uterine lining builds back up again. So this is while the estrogen is rising and the egg is being prepared to be released, the uterine lining is building back up so that the egg can be released. And then, as I said, you are less likely to become pregnant at this point. Now, once the uterine lining is building back up, and after about a week of that is when the egg is going to drop, which is ovulation. So your ovulation is when an egg is released from the ovary into the fallopian tube. So the estrogen peaks just beforehand and then drops shortly after. At this point, your estrogen is like super, super high. So obviously the estrogen is what a woman has. And I think it's so cool, like how this all happens. It's so interesting to me. But the estrogen, when you're at your peak ovulation, that is the peak. That is what creates the peak, is the estrogen. After your ovulation, it drops. This is where I knew that there was ovulation. I did not know about the estrogen though. Right after we got married, literally on our honeymoon, I bought ovulation tests because I literally thought you could take an ovulation test and if you're ovulating, it would come up positive. If you're not ovulating, it will come up negative or whatever. So I didn't know that you're supposed to take an ovulation test like a couple days before your ovulation. So when you are ovulating, it's gonna come up probably with like a second line, but it's like strongest couple days before ovulation. So I usually would take an ovulation test like 4 or 5 days after my period. And then once you take that and you see, okay, there's 2 lines, then you know that in like 2 or 3 days, you're gonna have your peak ovulation. Now there's an app that you can track and see about where your peak ovulation is, but there's things that you can do to ensure that it's your peak day. I don't go that far because I am not trying to get pregnant. I just know around the day that is my ovulation, and if I was trying to get pregnant, it might be different. I just didn't know about the day. So then for the next couple, like 3 or 4 days, we either just like don't have sex or use even extra protection. But as I said, the way to take an ovulation test is to take it 2 to 3 days before your peak ovulation. So that will determine it. There is an LH surge, which is the luteinizing hormone, which triggers ovulation. That is actually what causes the 2 lines to appear on the ovulation test, is the LH surge, which is obviously the hormone. That's pretty much what I have to say about ovulation. If you don't understand it now, I'm sorry if I didn't do a good job explaining it. But there is definitely one day, it's pretty much like 7 days after your period, that is the peak. But you can track it, and then you can do other things, tests, take your basal temperature, which is your temperature right when you wake up in the morning. That's what a lot of girls do who are using natural birth control. If you are wanting to get pregnant, you should have sex that day. If you don't know that specific day, if you're not tracking it, or if you're not doing anything to track it, you should definitely have sex like at least 3 days in a row, probably like the 5th, 6th, and 7th day after your period, or even the 8th day after your period. It's a lot of sex, but if you're wanting to become pregnant, that's how you're gonna get it done, you know? Once the ovulation period is over and the egg has dropped, this is when the luteal phase starts. I'm not sure exactly how to pronounce that, but this is the time between ovulation and before the start of your menstruation. So when the body prepares for a possible pregnancy. So the reason why you don't notice that you're pregnant like the day after you get pregnant is because the luteal phase is where the body is preparing to host a baby and to care for a baby, which is amazing. Again, amazing how God created the woman body. I think it's just insane. So basically is the prostrogen is produced, peaks, and then drops, and the sac that contained the egg produces estrogen and progesterone, and this lasts about a week. So for a week you're on your period. So you're on your period, but you're in the follicular phase. So the follicular phase is while you're on your period. So then also while you're in the follicular phase after your period, you have this proliferative phase. So this is the phase where the uterine lining is building back up to prepare to drop the egg. So that is while you are still in the follicular phase. Then you're on your ovulation. So this is right directly after the follicular phase is when you are on your ovulation, peak ovulation. And then after your ovulation is the luteal phase. So then after your luteal phase, then we go into the secretory phase. And this is the uterine lining that produces chemicals that will either help support an early pregnancy or will prepare the lining to break down and shed if pregnancy doesn't occur. So this is pretty much right before you get your period, because obviously if you don't get your period and you are pregnant, your period is a couple days late. And, or, you know, it's late because it's never going to happen. But because this is a cycle, if you are not pregnant, that's how it is. So it's able to keep on track is because once the body, or once it realizes there's no baby, there's no life, then the lining is flushed away, and that weeks, so those luteal phase weeks, or week, and the secretory phase week is your very low fertility. There's really not a huge chance to become pregnant. There's about maybe like 10% chance. The highest percent, so when you're on your ovulation, the highest percent chance that you can become pregnant at any point is 30%. So that is why babies are such miracles, because there is such a low chance. It's still like a miracle when people get pregnant. But I think the luteal phase is about, I'm not 100% sure, but I think it's about like 5 to 10% chance that you'll become pregnant. And then with birth control or with other types of birth control, like condoms or whatever, protection, it's a very low chance. I've finished telling all the phases and all that kind of stuff. Hopefully you have a better understanding now. I'm going to tell you about 2 apps that have really helped me understand this. I've been using this one app since I pretty much like started my period. Probably in like high school I started using this, or like junior high. But then I just got this new app since I got married. So the first app is Eve. Now these 2 apps, well, Eve especially is a little bit inappropriate, but I literally just got it to track my period. Eve it's your period and sex life uninhibited. There's like sex questions, sex things, like if you get notifications, there's like some inappropriate notifications that happen, but it's fine. I mean, I literally just use it to log my period. This is what it looks like right here. And then you go into it. It tells you, yeah, your fertility is low, the next period in 2 days. And then it says, did you start your new period? And health log, so you can log like if you're having sex, how you're feeling, sex drive, symptoms, flow, discharge, exercise, stuff like that. So you can log a bunch of stuff. I don't know that I've ever done these things at all, but I literally just use this page. So this is great for just tracking solely your period. But then I got this app for when I got married, and this helps with if you are trying to have a baby or if you're not trying to have a baby. But I put on mine that I am, because it helps you see what phase you're in, and it helps you with, you know, like it's trying to tell you when to have sex to get pregnant, but then that helps me to know, okay, I'm not supposed to have sex because I don't want to get pregnant. So it is called Glow, and it's, I believe, by the same people. So it looks like this right here. And if you go into it, so this actually tells you what phase you're in. So you can see it kind of looks similar. It used to tell me what percent of chance I have to get pregnant, but it doesn't tell me that anymore. Oh wait, it says it right here, 8.6% likelihood. So since I'm in the luteal phase, which is what we just talked about, it is a little bit higher percent chance than the follicular phase. So it will say the percent right there usually on every day. And then track your sex, and your CM is your cervical mucus, so that's your discharge. Your BBT is your basal body temperature, so the temperature that you have right when you wake up. This is great. Again, this is in the setting that I'm trying to get pregnant, so this is great to do for if you're trying to get pregnant. This is an ovulation test, symptoms, moods, stress levels. HPT is a pregnancy test. Oops. And then you can track your weight. So it's really great if you seriously are considering getting pregnant. But I don't do all of these because I am not trying to get pregnant. But when I am trying to get pregnant, I will do all of these things probably. But the great thing is you can go into this calendar right here. And this is where you can track your period and when it shows you your peak ovulation. So as you can see, here I am. I'm starting my period on Thursday. And then I usually have a 5 to 6 day period. And then as you can see, we have that follicular phase all the way until this green 25th of December, which is Christmas. and I am going to be, you know, starting that follicular, or I'm going to be entering into that ovulation phase. That peak ovulation day is projected on Thursday, which is exactly 2 weeks after I started my period. So ovulation is 2 weeks from the day you start your period. So I was kind of wrong in saying that it's exactly a week after you end your period, but it is actually it's actually a week from when you start your period. So I actually did not know that until today. I really like this app because, as you can see, you can track your, if you want to track you having sex. I didn't do it at all in November, but because I know usually where I am in my phases in my cycle, I don't have to track it all the time, but it's kind of cool to like go back. So like if I say I did end up pregnant, I could go back and pretty much like see when the pregnancy was conceived. You know, like so much about my life now, but whatever, it's fine. But if this can help someone, that's all I care about, because as I said before, I didn't really know about this stuff, and I know a lot of women don't know about this stuff. So I really hope this helped you. I really hope you enjoyed this video. And let me know in the comments down below if this did help you and if you really had no idea. Yeah, that's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching again. Or make sure to subscribe if you have not already, because I'm going to be doing a lot more videos like this, a lot more sit-down videos. I said in my last video that I wasn't going to be in this setup, but the second bedroom is almost done. We are hanging up decor right now, so I will be filming in there probably after this video from then on. Let me know any more video suggestions down below. If you have any more about girl talk or any videos that you would like to see, let me know. Also follow me on my Instagram, which is _LilyAllen, where I post all the time on there. Very active, and I only post one day on here, so if you want more content from me, you can go onto my Instagram and also my TikTok, which is the same. So yeah, thank you guys again so much for watching. Please like this video. I love you guys, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys.